Good morning and welcome to On the Spot right here on Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Grace Kajke. Let's take a look at the news making the headlines today. Full-blown teachers strike looms. Close Gukura Hundi chapter now, Mudenda. ZANU-PF functionaries questions Mnangagwa's pedigree ahead of 2023 general elections. BT takes Mnangagwa to task over harboring Rwandan genocide fugitive. In sports, suspension of PSL matches necessary, Jere. Highlanders appoint interim coach after sacking Mandla Mpofu. Now the news in details. Government has courted the rage of teachers after reportedly deducted huge amounts of salaries of educators who went on a strike when schools reopened last year. The development has triggered anger among teachers who are now planning a full-blown strike in protest over the deductions, which they said were a violation of the Constitution and labor law. Government last year announced that it was adopting the no work, no pay policy after teachers went on a strike to demand the pre-2018 United States dollar salaries or its equivalent at the interbank rate. Thousands of teachers were also suspended. Efforts to get a comment from the Public Service Commission Secretary Jonathan Utaunashe were in vain as he was not taking calls. Speakers of the National Assembly, Jacob Mudenda, yesterday called on a National Peace and Reconciliation Commission, NPRC, to bring closure to Gukura Hundi before the 2023 elections. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has opened public discussions on Gukura Hundi, but there has been a little movement towards finding a lasting peace-building solution towards the emotive issue, with victims accusing him of insincerity. Mnangagwa has also made shifts to discuss the emotive subject at the Bulawayo State House, where it was resolved that traditional leaders would lead process towards finding closure. Over 20,000 civilians died after the late former president Robert Mugabe deployed a North Korea-trained military unity in Matabeleland and Midlands between 1983 and 1987 to crack down on alleged dissent to his rule. Some ZANU-PF functionaries are questioning President Emmerson Mnangagwa's pedigree to successfully represent the ruling party at the next year's Crunch presidential poll. Mnangagwa, whose endorsement as the party presidential candidate is set to be reaffirmed at ZANU-PF's Congress in October, will square up against a seemingly formidable rival Triple C candidate Nelson Chamisa for the second time. They clashed in 2018 in a poll that was disputed. It had to be settled at the Constitutional Court, which upheld Mnangagwa's wafer-thin victory over Chamisa. But since then, Mnangagwa's tenure has been replete with legitimate questions, external and internal. Harare East legislator Tendai Biti has blasted President Emmerson Mnangagwa's administration for knowingly harboring Rwanda's most wanted genocide fugitive, Protais Mpiranya. It recently emerged that Mpiranya, a former commander of the Rwandese Presidential Guard, indicated for the slaughter of thousands of Rwandans, died in 2006 after hiding in Zimbabwe for 4 years. His grave, buried under a false name, was found at Grandview Cemetery just outside Harare, ending a 20-year-long search for him. According to the International Residual Mechanism for the Criminal Tribunal, IRMCT, an organization tasked with tracking down fugitives, Mpiranya fled to Zimbabwe in 2002 together with his family and a few associates, and their entry was facilitated by local officials who helped him evade capture till his death. Now in sports news. Premier Soccer League chairman Farai Jere insists the suspension of top-flight matches in the country to find a solution to the violence witnessed during the games was a necessary move. Jere-led PSL administration suspended all league matches countrywide after the violence during the Highlanders and Dynamo's clash at Barbourfield Stadium on Sunday. Harare businessman, who is also the Caps United president, believes suspending the matches was a step in the right direction. Highlanders have appointed an interim coach to take charge of the team following the sacking of Mandla Mpofu. Mpofu was relieved of his duties on Tuesday after a string of poor results. He was fired along with his assistant Bekitemba Ndlovu and the entire technical team. Only Joel Lupantla survived the chop and he will take over the reins on an interim basis. The former forward joined Hliswala Moya in a match after leaving Division 1 side Golden Eagles. He will be in charge until they appointed a new technical setup. We will cross over to other news. Gokwe Nembudzia legislator Justice Meya Wajgajena has won a case in which he sued the Shingai Munyeza chaired Borrowdale Brook Homeowners Association, BBHOA, the deactivating of his vehicle tags and relegating him to the visitors' lane to enter and exit the plush residential area. Wajgajena is up in arms with his neighbors for driving around the serene suburb in the thunderous vehicle between midnight and 1 a.m. on May 11. The matter spilled into the courts after his vehicle tags were deactivated on allegation of violation of the residential rules. High Court Judge Justice Neva Katillo on Wednesday ordered that his rights be restored with immediate effect. Katillo has also ruled that each party shall bear their legal cost. ZANU-PF member and businessman Mike Mangura has been sentenced to 12 years imprisonment for raping a Chinhoyi woman last December. He will, however, spend an effective 9 years in jail after Regional Magistrate Ignatius Mugova conditionally suspended 3 years. Mangura was convicted of raping a 38-year-old married woman whom he had offered a lift from the burial of the deceased party member. The convict from Gadzema Township, Chinhoyi, owns several properties he inherited from his late mother and is also a Chinhoyi Star Football Club board member. Now let's take a look at the news making the headlines. Full-blown teachers strike looms. Close Gukura Hundi chapter now. ZANU-PF functionaries questions Mnangagwa's pedigree ahead of 2023 general elections. BT take Mnangagwa to task over harboring Rwandan genocide fugitive. In sports, suspension of PSL matches necessary. Highlanders appoint an interim coach after sacking Mandla Mpofu. That ends this news bulletin. Thank you for listening. Tune again tomorrow at 10 a.m.